if you don't fix the foundation, then rebuilding on top of a broken or unstable foundation is just going to be fruitless. It's going to fall apart. So you have to get to the core of things. This is why I always talk about getting honest with yourself and taking an honest look at your habits, your decisions, what you do or choose not to do. If you walk away from difficult conversations because you can't push past to hear the truth, or you can't get yourself in a position where you're taking an honest look at yourself, you just kind of deflect or justify or give an excuse, then trying to change any outward actions isn't going to, it's not going to stick, because this is why the Bible says you can't put in those days it was wine. You can't put new wine in old wineskin because the skin that it was in, the bag, the vessel would burst. It couldn't hold it. So you had to change the skin that the wine was being poured into so it could hold the new wine, the acidity of the new wine or whatever. So in life, that is a perfect example. This is why renewing your mind daily is so important. It's until you get things down, until you become that default version, that developed version. God wants you to develop. He wants to develop you. He wants you to be refined, and it's not an enjoyable process. It's a process that takes, it's hard. It's hard to stand up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not living this way anymore. I'm not gonna look the other way why debt just continues to grow, or fat weight or inflammation continues to grow. I'm not gonna stick my head in the sand and be ignorant my whole life and hope it just goes away. So many people just hope these things just magically disappear, they just go away, or they're waiting for the perfect time to then deal with whatever it is that they have to deal with. I'll get to it at this time, or when this happens, I'll get to it. But if you don't handle those things are going to handle you. They will destroy your body, your nervous system, your mental capacity. You won't be able to handle more because you're so overloaded. And all of that stuff becomes, think of it like this big, messy ball of like sticky tape that's just rolling around, and it's picking up things, and it's getting bigger and bigger and messier, and there's lint attached to it, and there's crumbs attached to it, and it's just growing in this chaotic mess. God is not in the chaos. He's an orderly God, and he's a business God too. He wants you to steward things properly. He wants you to handle the little so he can entrust you with more. If you don't handle things and you don't take an honest look, and I'm talking about what we can look at. There's a lot of things, and I get people that write me and say, well, this and that. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can't do anything about. You can't change other people. You can't change on a huge scale a lot of times, but you can change the atmosphere in your home. You can change what you talk about. You can change whether you're complaining or not. You can change being a victim. You can show up. You don't have to stay up late. Nobody's forcing you to stay up and watch movies that are doing nothing for you. Nobody's forcing you to go out and drink and gossip. You're doing that. So stop doing it. Like, you're doing the things that you think, oh, I deserve this because I work so hard, or I deserve this. I'm going to do this therapy because I deserve it. I do this. Well, then you're going to get the results of that. And what happens is, and I'm not trying to be hard on you, I'm not trying to undermine what you might be going through or dealing with, because we're all dealing with and going through something. But what I'm trying to say is, you gotta get things under control. Get your home in order. Get your house in order. And getting your house in order isn't just your physical house, it's your body. So many people do renovations on their house, but not their own body. Get your life in order, whatever that looks like. Because when a woman starts taking control and saying, I'm getting these things in order, you put your foot down and you start getting these things in order, what happens is things can flow to you and through you when you start getting these things in order. You start being, there's more clarity, there's more discernment, and there's actually more joy, there's more peace. You'll find yourself doing things, and you'll be like, wow, you're noticing things, you're noticing opportunities, and you're noticing that things maybe that you missed before because you were so overloaded on things that you didn't notice those things before. You were just chaotic and overloaded and dealing with all of these stresses. So when you begin to unpack your life and you begin to unravel and untangle the messes, they're not going away. Okay, they're not going to go away. You have to work to untangle them. And sometimes people are in such a big financial mess that they think bankruptcy is a way out. And it might be. I mean, you might be in such a big financial mess that there's no way out. But if you don't change the habits, the wineskin, if you don't change that, you'll go right back into it. So if you don't change the habits of, if you don't change the renewing of the mind, you will go right back into those things. So it's a daily walk. It's showing up every day. So what I'm doing right now, I'm paying off debt, right? So I'm listening to that every day. I'm listening to Dave Ramsey. I'm tuning into different things, investment programs. I'm tuning into wealth building things. And I've always been really good at building wealth. I've always been good at making money. I've always been good at I've always had a creative side that could produce. I quickly learned that if I'm doing something that's wasting time and not producing, I won't spend my whole life doing it. I'll make the changes that I need to make right away to shift and pivot. So I'm constantly checking those things. But what I wasn't ever good at was investing. I didn't understand it. Nobody taught me, and I spent my whole life thinking, well, nobody taught me. Nobody did this. Well, at some point, I need to teach myself. So that's what I'm doing right now. Almost 43, I'm teaching myself these things, and I'm teaching it in a way that I can understand, and it's a daily thing every single day, day in and day out. And I'm going to help this lady. So you have to be willing to learn, keep developing. This is the growth and development mental process where you don't know everything. So you're making decisions based on what you know at that time, which means there's some ignorance there, because how do you know? You're just like, well, this is, I know this because this is all I've learned, or this is all I how I've lived before. And most of the time we make decisions based on what's comfortable and familiar. So when we're learning something new, we're like, well, this is odd because you've never taken the time to learn it. That's why it's a daily renewal. You're daily tuning in. That's why I try to do these videos daily. So it's like a little daily snack. And I remember Joyce Meyer used to say that. She's like, give yourself a little snack of the word every day. Put those post-it notes all over the house. And so you're renewing your mind daily, a little at a time, a little at a time, a little at a time. And then you might be able to pull something out of one of these videos that you didn't pull out in a video a week ago. And you're like, man, that really stuck. So it's the daily renewal of our mind. And it doesn't have to be this big 10-hour process. It's just tuning in as you can. So I'm tuning in on these videos, YouTube, or whatever that I can, based on the season of life that I'm in. I'm learning how to do things different. I know how to earn. I just never really learned how to multiply. Well, that's a big problem, because if you're earning and you're spending and you're earning and you're spending, you're still in a rat race. You're still not going anywhere. You still might think you're making progress but not getting anywhere, because you're just earning and spending and earning and chasing, and it becomes this never-ending cycle. And then you never really get out of that cycle. You just keep going around and around. So every day it has to be the renewing of your mind. What is it that you are trying to renew? Same thing with the habits of working out or going on a walk or eating healthy. It's every day you're doing the the exercise or the walking or the eating good, the clean eating. It's not like, well, I'm going to spend all month doing one thing, living one way, and then one day a month I'm going to do good. Bottom line is, if you want different in life, you have to do things different. You have to. Stop fighting against it. Stop making excuses, justifying what you do. If you want different, you have to become different. You have to learn to do things a different way. Otherwise, you will get more of the same, and your life will just be a repeat of the year before and the year before. It'll just be this Groundhog Day. Oh, this is every day, every year, every month. The time passes. What a sad way to live. I mean, so sad. So be willing to challenge yourself. And there's nothing wrong with being like challenging yourself and saying, I've had people unfollow me on Instagram because of some videos that I did that were women were questioning, how did you break free from all this? And I'm like, well, I gave all these reasons how I did and all these examples, but when it really came down to it, I got pissed. I got angry. I got so angry. I got angry at myself. I got angry at, why was I tolerating this? I got angry at all of the interest I was paying, the credit card companies. I got angry at so many things. And really, it came down to I was allowing it and tolerating it. So I reached that point of almost hatred, of like, I'm so pissed that I let things get this way. And I know that I'm better than that. And I know I could do better. And I know I was made for more. And so some people were like, oh, that's a little too aggressive for me. You shouldn't hate the body. You shouldn't hate your body. You shouldn't be that angry. I mean, I had one girl say, you can't hate your self into a new version. I'm like, actually, yes, you can, because you don't stay you're not swimming around in that disgust or that hate or that dissatisfaction. You're using it as a creative state to push yourself forward. Because if you don't, you will keep tolerating all of it. And when you don't hate something, if you don't hate being in debt, you'll stay in debt. If you don't hate being fat, you'll stay fat, because you're comfortable. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't hate it, so why change it? Well, what's the point of changing something that you're okay with? You've gotten used to it. It's comfortable. You don't need to change, you know. So until you get to that point where you wake up and you say, no, I'm not living this way, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not allowing this, and you get an honest look at your habits and your decisions, and you're the one who's doing it, you're the one who's allowing it. Even if you're tolerating somebody else's bad behavior, you're still tolerating it. You are still allowing it. Therefore, it becomes your problem because you're allowing it. And I had to put up boundaries with other people to say, well, if I'm allowing this person to come into my life and be a tornado and just wreck everything with their drama and chaos and narcissistic behavior and manipulations and gossip, well, then I guess I deserve it because I'm allowing them in. And when I put my foot down and said, I'm not allowing this anymore, it's a very difficult thing to do. And it's another battle. So be prepared for a battle if you're going to put a stop to certain behavioral patterns. And ultimately, it comes down to whoever is the one to stop the generational curses, to break the generational chains and strongholds. The one who is on the front lines takes the beating. And that's been me. For years, I'm on the front line saying, I'm not allowing this dynamic and this behavior and this culture from my side of the family or my husband's side of the family, that it was so strong and kept coming in. I'm not allowing this. And I've been the first one in our marriage to say I'm not doing this, and he still takes him forever to get on board with things. Eventually he does, but it just takes forever. I'm like, what a waste of time. Just get on board. Just stop this. All you have to do is look at the results. If your family has a habit of partying, drinking, not looking at what they're consuming, not looking at what they're watching. There's something on the TV that's inappropriate. I got my little kids around, and everyone's just, oh, they're too busy partying and drinking because that's what they do. And everybody's overweight, and everybody's just out of shape, and they're not worried about the language. Nobody's even paying attention to, what's really going on. Well, that's how things happen. That's how bad things happen when the parents are involved in their own indulgence and gluttony that they can't see. And so a few years ago, I think it was like probably 2020. So yeah, 6 years now. I said, no more. I'm not taking my kids around your family. And you want to fight with me about it? You want to go down to Mexico and party? You do it. I'm not taking them. We're not doing this. And I was the mean wife and the one who was like, oh, she's so mean. And, oh, there's all these quinceañeras and birthdays. I'm like, too bad. That's your culture, and that culture is not going to be adopted into our life. And the same went for my family. All the gossip and, people showing up unannounced, thinking that they're doing you a favor by bringing their problems into your life. Well, I had to put a stop to that too. Well, that will cause stress in a marriage. Oh, well. You're not here to accommodate everybody. You're not here to be the nice guy and, keep the peace, even though it's dysfunctional, even though it's going to create habits and cultures that you don't want for your kids. And I did not want my kids to grow up and think overeating and all this stuff was love. Oh, this is love, this is family, so let's just eat this way, let's just live this way. And that seems to be the culture that my husband's family was adopted into, or what they've carried. And, there's a lot of great things, but there was more that I did not want. And a lot of it was, too, that they just didn't face the facts. Okay, well, that's you, and I'm not doing that. So because I put a stop to it, I was the, quote, bad guy. I was the one who was, not letting them live, or not letting them do these things, or not letting them experience this culture, whatever. And so, but you're going after something bigger. You're going after the bigger picture. You have a different mentality. You're raising your standards. You're raising what you're allowing and what you're not allowing, and that looks different. So on the outside, and then the people who are just involved in everything worldly, it's going to look different. You're going to look like a stickler. You're going to look like, I mean, I had people tell me, you're too, all kinds of names. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but you got to just stand strong. You got to do what you got to do. This is why you're following God. You're submitted under the Lord. And you run your race with Jesus and no one else. If they don't want to run with you, leave them in the dust, because he's got a bigger plan for your life. And if you have kids that are still at home and you're a mom or parent, that's your responsibility. You are submitted to the Lord, and you run your race, and you do what you need to do to change things. Don't just allow whatever into your life. You got to put a stop to it. Anyways, hope this video helped someone.